Push forward, men! Hold the line! Brace for impact!
November 27, 1382. A massive army of 50,000 Flemish commoners stood ready to win their freedom. They were weavers, butchers, and artisans, and they had had enough. They had already tasted victory. Years before, their fathers had slaughtered the French nobility at the Battle of the Golden Spurs. Now the knights were back for revenge. This was not a battle for land. It was a massive war of classes. The brutal French nobility, led by their young king, had come to annihilate the brutal peasant uprising. The Flemish plan was simple. Form one massive, impenetrable box of infantry. No cavalry, no archers, just a brutal wall of pikes that had crushed knights before. But the French had learned. They were not fools. They saw the massive, brutal box, and they saw its brutal weakness. First, the brutal artillery. A massive barrage designed not to kill, but to brutally force the Flemish to huddle even tighter together. Then, the charge. The massive iron hammer of the French nobility, brutally smashing into the exposed, undefended flanks of the rebel army. The formation buckled. The men on the outside were brutally slaughtered, but the real horror was happening inside. The massive square became a death trap. The Flemish, pressed from all sides, had no room. They began to suffocate, to be crushed by their own massive numbers. A self-destructing wave of panic. They couldn't fight, they couldn't run. It was a slaughter. The massive war of the commoners was over. Their leader, Philip van Artevelde, wasn't even killed by a knight. He was found suffocated under a pile of his own men. 26,000 men were killed in 1 hour. The rebellion was extinguished. The knights had their revenge. They hung their dead leader's body in chains, a brutal warning to any commoner who dared to dream. The war of the classes was over. The humiliation of the Battle of the Golden Spurs had been avenged. A reminder from the feudal empire that in this massive, brutal world, the knight always wins.